This is iNet Coder. Thanks for joining us again. We have a breaking information coming right at you. We're delivering another great Quniverse news edition. So, let's go ahead and jump right in with the rest of the team. Okay, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Coder. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Quniverse News on Thursday, March 29th, 2018. Jumping into some good news. First off, we have Obama, Biden, and China. We have got some wins a couple days ago. Peter Schweitzer is at it again, and he has released a new book called Secret Empires. You might recognize Peter Schweitzer. He is actually the same author who published Clinton Cash. You'll see in the news there's quite a bit of hubbub, if you would, around Obama and Biden, as well as his son, Hunter. It appears that Obama assisted Biden's son in actually creating a deal with the Bank of China just before Biden's own trip there in 2013. Also around the China, there's lots of information around travels of the North Korean president. China specifically put out a statement this afternoon, which was a little unsettling, to be honest. Part of the Pacific Ocean might be becoming a very dangerous place. Most American media right now is consumed with teenagers stomping their feet about gun control these days. But American and international military planners are keeping their eyes on a large Chinese naval deployment in the South China Sea this week. And the China knew the world is watching. According to Reuters, at least 40 Chinese naval vessels, including an aircraft carrier, embarked on a very public show of force in the South Korea Sea this week. Satellite images show a flotilla, led by submarines in the inline formation, more suited for a visual propaganda than hard military maneuvers, were reported. Also in the news, our very own Bee put out a call to action with our meme war. You may have heard it on our last episode. So we hope you have your memes ready. And today you should be sending those out to anybody and everybody across every social media you can find. So hope you've got them out. Thanks so much.
Hey, this morning I woke up to an urgent message when I checked my Twitter feed from Kim.com. He said that Julian Assange has had his internet disconnected and that he was not allowed visitors. He also asked for everybody in the London area to gather around the Ecuadorian embassy and demand to reconnect Julian. Also, Anonymous Scandinavia put out this video with Julian just to let us all know that he's okay. Let's have a quick look. So he's making sure that we know that the WikiLeaks operations are not affected in any way, even though he is himself without internet connection at the moment. And Chancellor Maria Fernanda Espinosa stated that the reason that he has been prohibited from using the internet is that he violated a communication abroad agreement, and so he's got a little timeout. There's been some question, though, because as we know from discussions we've had with Dr. Corsi and with other Anons, that it's questionable whether Julian is actually at the Ecuadorian embassy or perhaps in Switzerland. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And next up, we have Assault by Tech. Jumping right in. First up, we got a Zero Hedge article from John Whitehead from the Rutherford Institute. It says, "Think it can't happen here? Austin bomber's capture exposes the depth of the spy state, or police state, rather. Obviously, someone made a big mistake in revealing this information to be stultified, oblivious to the public. That self-same public of we the people that has the right to know and yet doesn't understand what is happening. John's done a very good job over the last year or so covering the police state and the encroachment of cameras and everything else tracking your every move." Next up, we also have a continuation from what we covered a couple days before on some suspicious packages in the government mail facility in D.C. So if you want, you can go ahead and follow up and read through that story. Next up, we also have a bit of information that's breaking from Vital Boeing Computer Network infected with the WannaCry virus. So the WannaCry virus is affecting production equipment that may spread to airplane software, prompting fears that flying may not be safe, it has been reported. Next up, we also have Reddit disables Bitcoin payments. And so they've effectively quit accepting any payments from the largest digital currency. And off to health news. First up, we've got Sarah reporting from the Healthy Home Economist that the CDC adds 3 more vaccines to childhood immunization schedules. We look through our list down here. It says the CDC adds 3 more, and then if you take a look at our 2016 extended list of vaccines, what are we talking about? 30, 40 there? Boy, I don't know about you, but I can remember the days we only had 3 or 4. Boy, folks, I don't know about you, but I think we ought to be checking into why we're having so many vaccines, and there's plenty more on the docket as well. Next up. Also, from the Rebel Pharmacist, NASA confesses to dosing Americans with airborne lithium and other toxins. Folks, I don't know if you're checking the skies as of late, but maybe you've noticed that there's a lot of haze and chemtrails in the air, or maybe the proper term, geoengineering. Either way, I would certainly advise you to check this out and get acquainted with it. And also, again, from the CDC, using their typical scare tactics, we've got a second wave of quote-unquote B strain influenza that has begun. So here we go again, folks. Another bout of influenza net that may be spreading across the country. Is it fear tactics? Don't know yet. Next up, Zuckerberg. Boy, this guy's been in the news quite a bit here in the last week or two, hasn't he? He agrees to finally testify before Congress. I think he's got a lot to answer for. And of course, in one of the articles today, this explains a little bit how the Facebook for-profit with the third-party ad agencies works. Little diagram there for you to check out. And also, we have an interesting bit of news today, still along the lines of censorship, that Playboy decides to delete their Facebook page, claiming contradiction of values. Now, what's kind of interesting about that is that they sure maintain their Instagram page, which, by the way, is still owned by Facebook. And, of course, emails link Peter Thiel to Eric Schmidt's daughter. It just gets better, folks. Unbelievable. And checking the stocks today, the FANG stocks, typically known as Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, all seem to be tanking. Why? Well, maybe people have had pretty tired of being censored. Next up.
Hey, thanks, Spec. Well, today we had about 2 handfuls of Q. We had many, many posts in which links that you're going to want to go check yourself on one of our sites that pulls from the chans. They pull all of the Q posts, such as qanon.pub and others. And you're going to want to check those yourself because there are several links in them to really juicy, meaty articles. So go ahead and take a look at those. Also, we want to point out that Q mentions that the Great Awakening board has been compromised and it's been killed, deleted, but not to worry. As one of our Anons told Q, they said, "I'm terrified to go to bed, but I have to. I have to work tomorrow. What if I wake up and everyone has moved to a new board? How will I know? I've been on this train since CBTS."
I can't lose communication now. And Q responds by saying, "You are safe. They are terrified. Sleep well, Patriot. You elected us to keep you safe. We will not fail. Great Awakening will change. Notification will be made. Where we go one, we go all. Q." And this next story is about Nexium cult leader Keith Raniere, who was arrested in Mexico, and if these reports are true, this guy's one very sick pervert. Rainier, aka Vanguard, allegedly formed a secretive group within Nexium called Master Over the Slave Women, which forced his slaves to diet to keep themselves thin, brainwashed them into becoming sex slaves, and branded them with his initials into their pelvic areas. And as we delve deeper into human slavery and trafficking, what we're uncovering is extremely disturbing, and it gets a lot worse than this. Anyway, on to the next article, which is the rise of the Obama youth and the speech police. Former President Barack Obama, after 8 years of continuous war, dodgy pellets of cash to Iran, and rampant unvetted immigration, has created a foundation to educate youth in his image. At the same time, we see the youth of today, who have valid concerns over their safety, being manipulated by the mockingbird media to carry out an oppressive anti-Second Amendment agenda. I fully support these kids wanting safe schools, but I find it distasteful that an agenda has been built on the corpses of dead children. What kind of sick vultures stick a camera in front of a teenager moments after surviving such a horrific event? Obama seems to think there are major risks in having free-thinking social media users, and is using his foundation to study ways to improve user interaction, which will likely lead to more censorship of anyone who disagrees with the party agenda or has the audacity to want to think for themselves. This rhetoric and agenda should be alarming. A brief study of 1940s German history draws some sobering parallels to current day events. This should be a cause for concern to any patriot that wants to live in a free and democratic society. Anyway, over to Tenacity.
Thank you so much, Link. With all the activities going on, we wanted to make sure that we captured some of the events. In today's news, we actually heard that from Breaking 911 that an entire family actually perished. The parents and 6 children are believed to have gone over a cliff in an SUV. We'll be following that. That was in California later this afternoon. Also in the news, we had Continental Connection Flight 3407 actually go down right outside of Buffalo. I believe that there was 50 victims in that crash. Confirmed dead today. They found 911 actually broke the story of the remains in Nevada City, California, of a shallow grave this afternoon of a missing Hollywood actress Adila Shabani. During an autopsy, the victim was positively identified through tattoos. They said that she had actually disappeared on Friday. Or late in February, excuse me. Also, in the news of deaths, late this afternoon, we got confirmation of the HP Chief Operating Officer, John Flackman. He actually passed away. He was said to be 61 of age. Also in the news today, we have missing. There's a journalist in Haiti, and his wife is actually speaking out this afternoon. Grad Ravine in Port-au-Prince is actually missing since late November. Also missing was Fiona Barnett, exposed Nicole Kidman's father to a satanic pedophilia ring, and so she is also missing. And last but not least, we have President Trump actually fired his VA secretary, David Shulkin. And a strange piece of news for the family who actually fell over in the crash where the parents and the children. One of the children identified is the same gentleman who went viral at the Ferguson protests, 15-year-old Devontae Hart. So our prayers and to his family and all of the first responders to that accident. And with that, I turn it back to Juniper.
Thanks, Tenacity. So we're jumping back to China briefly for a minute, guys. So the Chinese city of Shenzhen has taken policing to a whole other level. Their police have partnered with the AI firm IntelliFusion, which uses facial recognition to identify jaywalkers. When someone jaywalks, IntelliFusion IDs the person. An image of the person's face is then projected on large screens located near crosswalks, and a text is sent to the jaywalker notifying them of the offense and the fine. What's interesting to note here is that the recorded offenses will affect each Chinese citizen's social credit score. What's a social credit score? Well, in China, it's a reputation system where each citizen is rated based on economic and social status. The Chinese government has been using these social credit scores to block citizens from purchasing airplane tickets, buying property, and even paying for their children's tuition. Since the beginning of Shenzhen's implementation of AI, to police its residents about a year ago, over 13,000 people have been flagged and identified as discredited persons. And in case you missed it, Mark Zuckerberg has made several trips to and from China over the past couple of years. He's also a huge proponent of AI and recently poached former Chinese official William Shuyi to work at Facebook. For more information, you can kind of check out the links below. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, this tech and concept reminds me of that TV show, Person of Interest.
And news from the White House. We'll just go over some of the highlights that came out of the White House today. First of all, nominations. John Ricola Jr., he's to be the ambassador of the UAE. Kyle McCarter is going to be ambassador to Kenya. Mark Rosen is going to be executive director of the International Monetary Fund, and Admiral Ronnie M. Jackson, MD, to be Secretary of Veterans Affairs. We've had some appointments today. David F. Eisner is going to be the Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Management, and Honorable Robert Wilkie to be Acting Secretary of Veterans Affairs. In other noteworthy notes, the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement negotiated changes that will reduce trade deficit and improve prosperity and security of American people, and that will impact auto and pharma industries. Q4 GDP numbers revised up to 2.9%. POTUS to go to Ohio to deliver infrastructure initiative remarks. He had a call with Theresa May, the Prime Minister of the UK, and addressed the following topics: the need to dismantle Russian spy networks, reducing chemical weapon attacks on UK and US soil, impact of Cloud Act on law enforcement cooperation. In a tweet earlier today, POTUS asserted that his support for the Second Amendment, also the construction of the border wall, began today. POTUS also visited Representative Scalise in the hospital, and VP Pence met with the servicemen and women, the law enforcement officers and first responders after speaking about America First policies, largely focused on jobs and infrastructures. Juniper?
Hey, thanks, Odonata. Calling all patriots, help wanted. We really need your help, seriously. From all of us here at the Quniverse team, we are looking for interns to help us sort through the piles of information we've recently unearthed. We're looking for self-starting individuals to read source data and report on the findings. If you're on Discord, check out the Name and Shame server. If not, please email us at iwanttohelp@devbytes.com. That's iwanttohelp@devbytes.com. And just shoot us an email and we'll send you some information.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Definitely appreciate it. It's iNet Coder, and I just want to go over our resources real quick. Everything from Breitbart News all the way down to Zero Hedge. And our hidden meme of the day, choose your future. Fake news versus good news. And we're going to leave that all up to you guys. And Moving over to the Patriot Partners, want to give a shout out to We the People 24/7 Patriot Soapbox. Please check them out. They're a 24/7 live channel on YouTube. Also check out Coffee and Freedom. They're putting out a lot of good material and a lot of new things coming your way with them. Grant Torino, good friend of ours, over in Ireland. Please check him out and subscribe. Of course, Dr. Jerome Corsi, renowned author, and he does a lot of Q decodings. If you are on Discord, please, as previously mentioned, check out the Name and Shame server and the Internet Bill of Rights server there on Discord. And the staff, I'm sure you guys are getting to know us a little bit now. I'm Inet Coder. We have Breaking Spectre. We have Juniper. We have Anada Anan. We have Red Cord. We have Sunny. We have The Missing Link. We have Tootsie Poo. We have Tenacity. And we have Wolverine. And of course, we're going to call out the fair use statement. As you guys can tell, Section 107 of U.S. copyright law there. We just want to make sure we're not stepping on no toes. So again, guys, we definitely appreciate you joining us. And hopefully we'll get to see you again real soon.